North Texas hosted this event, so there was a lot of teams that were similarly ranked as we were. So it was a really competitive field because everybody was kind of at similar levels with similar previous scores in the season. I would say so. Yeah, it was a good test. We had to bring our A game every day. We knew the people next to us were going to be doing that same thing. So.
Yeah. We started. It was kind of crazy. We had totally different weather every day, which was very different. So the first day, the practice round, it was blowing like 40 out of, I think, like the southwest. And then the next day, it was blowing 15 out of the north. And then the last day was out of the east. So every single day, the course played was completely different. So it took a lot of focus to really think about each hole. And even in the practice round, I think that was the biggest thing, was understanding that, okay, yes, today this hole played like this, but tomorrow it's going to play 50 or 60 yards different, because instead of a 40-mile-an-hour into the wind, you're going to have 15 or 20 behind you. So the course just played significantly different all 3 rounds, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah, looking at the results too, it felt like it threw a lot of teams off. It looked like
there's higher scores for sure.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
across the board.
Was that the first time you guys were out on that course?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. The practice round was the first time, and I would say even with no wind on that course, it's still a difficult course to learn. There's a lot of elevation changes. I'm gonna do my best to try and explain one of the holes, but they have a par 5 out there that is on your approach shot into the green. The green is up on a cliff, so you can't see the flag from down below.
Okay, so you're going off of what you've seen before in the walkthroughs.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's just I don't even know how many we had to add for elevation change.
I think it was 20 yards.
Yeah,
so it'd be like a 60-foot cliff that you hit up on.
And you can't see the flag, can't see anything, and then right behind it was a drop off into a hazard. So it was just like you had to hit the green. So that hole caused some issues all across the board.
Real issues,
tough.
yeah.
What hole was that on that course? I wonder if I can find a picture
16.
of it. 16. Okay.
So just little things like that. The whole course is just very hilly, huge elevation changes. The clubhouse is just up on a hill, and from there you kind of just went down, and then some of the holes were just up and down and up and down. We had to walk it the practice round day because the course was too wet to take carts. And normally we walk every tournament, but they were not going to have us walk on this course just because of all the elevation changes. It would have taken years. But we did walk the practice round, and it was a beast.
Yeah.
To walk.
And that hole specifically, it was from the bottom. I mean, you couldn't see the flag, so you could definitely not see if your ball landed on the green or not. And there were some girls, so if you left it short of the green, it would just come all the way back down the cliff. And so it was a good thing there were carts for people to have shuttles, because that would be very annoying, walking up and back and up and back.
Yeah, there were some holdups on that hole for sure. There were some big numbers. I think there was a 12 in my group, I think, and it was just I felt so bad for the girl because that could have happened to anybody out there. I mean, that was a really difficult hole. I would say that one probably played the hardest, but yeah, just even without the wind as a factor out there, it was just a course that took a lot of learning in the practice round to begin with. And then I think you throw in, I thought we did a really good job of adjusting and just learning on the fly, which we had to because the wind was just changing so much, and it was gusty. So some of the times you have your club in your hand, you think you had calculated the wind, and then you'd be like, well, the wind just stopped there, or it changed direction. I need to grab a different club. So I thought as a team, we adjusted really well to that, but it was definitely a course that one would play difficult without any wind, but we just had a lot of different winds thrown at us that we had to deal with. So I was pretty proud of how we handled that.
And then am I looking at, is 16 kind of straightaway until you get to that cliff?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the right one then. And yeah, it is a significant elevation. I wish I had a better picture to see the bird's eye point of view from underneath, but even like the flyover, you can see that's quite a jump to get up there.
Yeah, and then the next hole is a par 3, and so you tee off from the cliff, and then you hit straight down, back down to where you were. So then it's
minus 25 yards. Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
So the one round, it was like 160, but it's downhill 25 yards, and then we were downwind 15 to 20, and it was like, can I really hit like a pitching wedge from here? Like that doesn't seem right. It's 160 yards, but the math checked out.
And then the next day I had a 4-iron.
Yes, because it was into the wind. Yeah.
One day I hit a pitching wedge. One day I hit a 4-iron from the exact same spot. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we learned a lot at that course. It was a really good test, I think, just of as we go down the road now with this season, courses are going to start to get tougher. The teams we see are going to start to get better, and it's just going to be a lot more of a test every round and everywhere we go. So I think it was really good for us to kind of come into this tournament and really just be tested on every shot.
Yeah.
There was no shot out there where you could kind of like have a mental lapse or lack focus or anything like that. It was like every shot demanded your full attention.
Yeah, one thing too, it's I was looking at the results, and you guys got 6, but no one from Nebraska got into the top 20. But nonetheless, you guys still find yourselves up there. So was it just kind of a strong performance for a tough course, but no one's falling behind? Like, what was kind of that mindset? Because obviously the results kind of speak for themselves. Obviously, no one, or at least not a ton of people, just totally crumbled through the difficulty of the course. So what was kind of that mentality going through that difficult course? And not just crumbling after a few bad shots.
Yeah, I think we all did a very good job staying in it. I think we knew that you just had to bring it on every shot, and you knew that you could hit a double or a triple or a 9 or 12 easily on that course. So it was like, well, just keep going because your score could still count. I mean, there was so many 77, 78, 79s that were counting for teams, which you just did not see that our last tournament where teams were 40, 50, 60 under par. I mean, it's just so different.
I think one girl in the whole field over 3 days was under par.
And she was like, I think one or two under.
Yeah, Lily Thomas for Tulsa was 2 under.
Yeah.
And everyone else, one person was even, and then, everyone else was just close.
Over. Yep. So I think we kind of just knew, and we kind of talked about this the practice round day too. Any day out there, depending on how the wind was, depending on overall conditions, the par that we were going for could have been a little bit over par. And so I think just coming out the morning of and seeing how things are going and kind of adjusting to that, I would say our team did a really good job because big numbers were so possible out there. I think our team did a really good job of understanding that and just staying in each shot to try and cut out the big numbers as much as possible. And I think that really makes a difference because if you take a 9 on a hole rather than a 6, I mean, that adds up really fast, and if multiple people on a team are doing it, that adds up really, really fast.
Yeah.
So I think that was my goal out there, especially when I would find myself in trouble. Was we talk about this a lot too, of just get yourself back in play as soon as you can, and then just get yourself on the green and 2-putt from there and get out of there, and just try and
save a bogey
at the worst, because a bogey's not going to hurt you that bad. So I feel like sometimes just kind of that mindset helps a little bit rather than letting things spiral, because I think that's a course and some of those holes are very easy to spiral if you find yourself in bad positions.
I think I'd be walking off after like hole 3. There's like no way. That'd be a big mulligan game for me. I'd be shaving strokes left and right.
Yeah, those greens I think just made that course. I mean, the layout was hard and the wind was hard, and then the greens just had a lot of slope, and the pin placements they picked were not easy. I mean, you had 2-foot putts and they were breaking 6 inches to a foot, and
people were missing 2 to 3 footers everywhere,
constantly. And you just don't see that at a lot of courses. I mean, all these girls are so good that you give them a 3-footer, I think probably 90% make. And this tournament, it just wasn't. I mean, I saw one girl miss 2 1-footers, and it's like, I mean, you don't think a 1-foot putt can break. Like, you're always like, maybe it's an edge putt, and nope, it broke that much.
Well, and going into the tournament, even after we saw the course on the practice round day, and we were kind of like, okay, getting ready for the next day, our coach even said, she was like, the team that wins this week is going to be the ones that can make the 4 to 5 footers out here. I mean, normally you think that's a pretty set stat. That's just kind of, okay, most teams I don't even know what the percentage is, but most of that is usually pretty consistent. But out here, it's just going to be so different for a lot of teams. As she said, whoever can make the 4 to 5 footers is going to be the team that wins it. And I think even just looking at our stats as a team, we can see that's one area we didn't do as well on this week, and I think it showed in the score.
So was that the toughest course? I feel like that's got to be up there, at least for you guys so far this season.
I think that was probably our most over par event. So I would say, probably.
So any that are kind of close to it?
I think Wisconsin last year in the fall was pretty tough. I mean, that one also had a lot of elevation changes. They had their differences, but I would say they were pretty similar in difficulty. And those conditions were a bit nicer, though.
Yeah, definitely. The next 2 courses we play will be more this level, a little more difficult than what we've seen all year. So I'm glad we were able to play a tougher course and kind of learn what we need to do, to have some time to prepare for the next ones.
So that Scarlet course, Ohio's, that one's a pretty difficult course as well.
It is.
That was where you played in that. I watched there, but regionals, when our team made it 2 years ago, that's where it was.
Oh, so you've had experience on that 2 years ago.
Yes, and we've played in their home tournament almost every year. So I've played that course multiple times.
Yeah. Have you, Lindsay, been on that course?
I've been on it, but I haven't played it.
Okay.
I went as the 6th person when we went to regional, so I just walked along and.
Okay, so at least you kind of get this feel of what it look like. How was that? Do you remember what that was like? I mean, obviously you guys did well 2 years ago. But what was just what was that day like? Were you guys just firing on all cylinders?
Yeah, we did pretty well. I think that course you just really want. It sounds simple, but you really want fairways and greens because the rough out there is super thick. It's most of the time just very wet there in April. I don't know why.
Night grass?
I think so.
I think it is. Yeah.
But the rough is just like 3-4 inches deep and thick. So when you get in there, there's no guarantee you're getting on the green out of there. Sometimes you just have to run something up, and even if you can get out, it's hard to hold those greens when you're coming out of that much rough. So I think that's definitely one of the big,
Mm-hmm.
Does that course have a lot of hazards on there as well? Or no, is it just like the rough that's kind of the biggest biter on that one?
Mostly rough. They've got a few
trees.
Quite a few trees. Yeah. Pretty narrow.
I'm curious. I'm glad you got that tournament out of the way. That seems incredibly difficult. I was just, like I said, I was looking up at the images, and that's a course I wouldn't want to play on. That's not, way above my level. But like you said, of course, is ahead now. So what are kind of some of those strengths coming off course like that? Now you're going to head to Ohio State. What are you bringing from the last tournament to Ohio?
I think one thing for sure is just adjusting kind of on the fly, and I think just being mentally tough with conditions that are thrown at us. We had some pretty tough conditions, as we mentioned, at this last one, and I think we handled them pretty well. But I think just little things like that, even taking all skill out of it, but just being able to kind of weather the storm, literally sometimes, but just whatever's thrown at you, and just being able to learn from it and adjust and kind of read the conditions on every hole and sometimes on every shot when they change like that. I think we got some really good practice with that at the tournament, and I think we've had some really good practice with that our last few days of practice as well. So I think I'm excited for what that can do for us going into the next few tournaments.
You got anything to add?
I think just it all rebounded very well. So our first round of the 36, I think a lot of us played well. The second round we did not do as well, but then the third round we moved up. What was it 4 or 5 spots? I think we came into the final round in like 10 and jumped to 6th. So I just think the ability to rebound was really cool to see. Just from every, we had I took a triple, we had a couple 9s, I think, and everyone still fought back and played well enough to kind of make up for that. So if their score could still be manageable, that wouldn't hurt the team too bad. So I think that was all very good to see.
Yeah. So day one, you guys had 291. Then 301, and then day 3 you kind of go back to the norm. You go back to 292, which so it looks like you guys started out strong. Second day was a little tough, and then actually it looks like you guys with 2 leaders on your team as well. Looking at the results here, were you guys
I don't
aware?
even know.
No, I don't think so.
You guys were all, pretty much right there together.
We were, we were all very packed in there.
Megan has 221, Lindsay at 222. And then goes 223, 234, 220. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, 227. So you guys were pretty much all right there. So like I said, it's important because no one fell apart.
Yeah.
Which is just going to kill you. If you get in your head and you start playing those mind games, like you said, that bogey becomes a double, becomes a triple, and then you just stop counting because it's making you scared. Think about that number.
Yeah. Well, and that gets important too as we go forward, and we're in 6 count 4 tournaments where it's anyone. We're 6 girls and 4 lowest scores count. So at that point, it's like we have one extra girl than we normally do. So everybody's just going for their best score, and yeah, that becomes important there too, of just reducing the big numbers and just trying to put together a good score to count.
And then Megan's got the Masters hat on, I noticed.
Yes.
And obviously everyone else, I'm sure, is aware Masters are going on. We talked a little bit before, but Koepka right now is the only one from the U.S. tied at first, and it's Hovland from Norway. And I'm missing one. There's 3 people tied for first.
John Rahm.
Okay, so we got those 3 up there. But I was going to ask you guys, I know you guys probably don't have a ton of time between school practice to watch a ton, but do you guys have any favorite players that you're rooting for?
I would love to see Spieth win.
Yeah, I'm a Spieth person
I
too.
would love to see Spieth. I've got Jason Day for a lot of my fantasy picks, so that would be very cool too. Just because he hasn't won, and he had done so well so many years ago and just didn't ever win it. But I really like his game, so I think it'd be cool to see him win too.
Yeah, I would say I'm Spieth as well. I'm a Spieth fan.
I think Spieth probably has the most fans. I feel like
he does too. He's a fan favorite.
Yeah,
for sure. I think him or Scotty Scheffler. I would like to see him win again. I think back to back would be really fun. Yeah. Let's see. JT. I think I'd be happy if he won.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a little team fantasy going on.
Oh, that's cool.
So we each had to pick. It was set up as so they do a past champion, American, international, and
wild card.
Yeah, they changed that last year. It used to be like a first timer or a rookie.
I've never tried that. That actually seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
It's fun.
It's hard to figure out like your past champ and your American, because there's so many of them fall in multiple categories, and so it's like, well, who do you really want? But I'm not doing as well in that one. I know we had a few people Povland, and so they're really doing well.
I'm doing pretty well today.
Yeah.
I have after today. I have Rahm. I think he's my international maybe. I have Spieth.
Oh wow.
Scheffler and Tony Finau as my wild card, and he's pulling through. I think he's 2 or 3 under. So I've got a little lineup going.
Yeah, I'll look up and double check here.
Yeah,
you sound pretty solid. I'm gonna have to try that next year. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Has
that always been kind of happening, or is that like a new thing?
I don't know.
I know.
Did you guys do it last year?
Mm-hmm.
We did it last year, but I don't know how many years it's been there.
I don't either.
And it makes it fun. Instead of just picking 4 random guys, there's actually categories that everyone has to pick with.
And like you said, you're dicing up categories. So I got to really be careful because you don't want to waste the category and kind of double up. But nonetheless, we've already get to break here. We're running up against the clock. Again, if you guys want to watch the show, put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and ILO channel 951, streaming on there as well. It's a great way to join the conversation. Again, Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We'll throw the break here on Big Red Birdies. I'm Harrison. That's Megan and Lindsay. We'll be back right after this break.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them.
Response to attacks against Americans. Donate camp guidelines to the Asian.
There is so much more to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. No Labels and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place to seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a day when things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People's Mission is sponsoring this program in our community, set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the person. Go inside and ask for help. We'll be quickly connected to them, and ensure they make it back home or whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to PCMLincoln.com. We all do a little. We change a lot.
I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. The best way to strengthen our economy for the long term is investing in our education system and raising the skills of American workers. To succeed in the global economy, we need to modernize our schools, hire excellent teachers, and focus on the future. Support great public schools, and we can make the good life even better.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC, sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
Nebraska seems to be hitting Texas pretty hard early in the Matt Rule era. Do you think that that's been something that's missing at Nebraska in the last several years?
The amount of Texas kids, level of Texas kids has been moved and dropped off. With Matt Rule's strong size Texas area, know-how, his connection with a lot of high school coaches, Nebraska will get back into it.
Culturally, that's kind of fit, right? Because a lot of those guys, they're in communities that live and breathe high school football, and then they get to visit Nebraska. This place lives and breathes like college football.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the C, sponsored by Nebraska DHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I'm Chris Chapnick. I served in the United States Air Force and I'm employed. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately, in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackman, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only from my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
I'm Jenny Benson, president of the State Education Association. The best way to strengthen our economy for the long term is investing in our education system and raising the skills of American workers. To succeed in the global economy, we need to modernize our schools, hire excellent teachers, and focus on the future. Support great public schools, and we can make the good life even better.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we are here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Chapnick. I served in the United States Air Force. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately, in that, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jackman, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their
they
age,
speak, the way they speak. Hard to learn why I am America.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, Food Bank Strong, the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back into the ticket. This is the Red Birdies. I'm Harrison Arns, trying to adjust my glasses. Every time I put my headphones on, it pulls my glasses forward and they hang like an inch off my face. Drives me crazy. But nonetheless, we got Megan and Lindsay here from the Nebraska golf team. I'm Harrison Arns, pushing ones and twos. And again, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We want to put a face to the voice in Allo, channel 951, our new partner. Great way to do that. And if you really like ticket content, you can even watch it at 3 a.m. if you choose to do so. So again, I think it's growing and it's awesome. And you got to thank the pioneers like Megan and Lindsay for being a part of this. Because it is true. Like, things have to be cool for especially like younger people. Maybe you guys are humble and you're like, well, I'll just try it. But for some people, like it does kind of have to be cool, and it takes those first student athletes to do it, get comfortable talking about it with other athletes, and the chain is kind of starting to happen for us, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I know we got some shows lined up, possibly. I can't get spoilers out, but like I said, it's just awesome. This thing's growing. Again, thank you guys and all the other student athletes out there for just being a part of this. But again, 402-464-5685, starter Heyman text line. Over the break, we were talking about the Masters and just the tradition of it all. We'll start. You guys had a quirky question with the menu.
Yeah.
And the menu is crazy cheap, which I didn't even realize how cheap it was out there, because you can imagine they make a ton of money. Concessions really aren't going to add to their profits.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, they have an awesome menu. And what your question was, what would you get? Are we getting a drink and food item, or just a food item?
I don't know. You can buy quite a bit with $10 there.
Yeah,
a lot more.
You can probably get like almost half the menu. Besides there's a few
Yes.
things that are
Yeah.
like, what's the most item on there? Like $6. I think white wine for $6.
Wine, $6. Yeah. Food wise, $3. $3 is the most expensive.
That's incredible.
I would say the pulled pork sandwich for me. That would be a staple with their lemonade, their pink lemonade.
Did you get the pulled pork when you were there?
I did. I had a lot of pulled pork sandwiches. I tried the pimento cheese. It was not my favorite, which I know that's what majority of people love.
Yeah.
But the pulled pork, it was some of the best pulled pork I'd ever had, which you would just not expect at a golf tournament.
No.
And it's like a good sized sandwich, and you can get 3 of them for $100. I mean, it's just so cheap.
So great.
It almost feels like hitting McDonald's drive-through. That
Yeah.
feels criminal.
Yeah, it does. It just doesn't feel right. Well, yeah, I've never been there. I would love to go someday, but I think the barbecue's great, but then I think I'm gonna one up that, and I would definitely have to get the Georgia Peach ice cream sandwich.
Yeah,
that I would just have to do. I just see photos of those everywhere. I feel like during this week and hear a lot about it. So
That does sound pretty good. Georgia Peach ice cream sandwich.
is it sugar cookies
with peach ice cream?
Yeah.
My mom got that, and it was really good. And I didn't even like peach ice cream back then. So, and I still
Surprised you
like
didn't get it with your ice cream.
I got I don't know if it was a cookie or brownie, one of their other desserts, because I was like, I don't know if I like peach ice cream, but it was really good.
I bet that'd be amazing. What about you?
Definitely go for that breakfast sandwich and then grab a Coors Light with it. Just
Yeah.
a little breakfast sandwich with a domestic beer. It'd just be awesome. And for that price tag, I get quite a few Coors Light.
Yeah.
They probably have well, I wonder how that works, because we're kind of talking about it's so traditional. I wonder what the line is for people getting too drunk with those prices, like how fast that cutoff is.
I feel like the lines have to be so long. It would just
Right? Like if it's
Yeah.
that cheap.
I don't
How many
know.
concessions were there? Were the lines long?
We were just there on the practice round day. They weren't too bad. They just moved so fast. Everything there is so
Oh, they-
well run. I mean, even the merchandise tent, you're just in and out, and you're just in waves of people, line everywhere. All their machines. I don't remember if it was cash or credit card, but everything was just so smooth. There was never they just had like little conveyor belts of they're just stocked with pulled pork sandwiches. So you just grab one and go check out. I mean,
That
it's
is
like
amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a gas station, but the food
Yeah.
is like so
good.
Yeah, so good.
I would love to go someday. I just think just to see their fairways and just to be able to see how much work and just how pristine they are and how there's not a blade of grass that's out of place.
Mhm.
I just think that'd be so amazing.
I would love to get show with just the landscapers.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
talk to them. Be like, how do you get how is it 24/7 operation? Because it almost looks like it has to be with
Yeah.
how pristine everything is.
I remember it was after the practice round. We got there first thing that morning because we're like, this is your one day. We'll never know, if you'll go back. And they were coming down hole 9 because they had guys teeing off on 1 and 10 that day. And there was just a long line, probably 50 guys across the fairway filling divots. Just walking all in a line. It looked like a military or something. Here they come, just filling divots, patching grass, making it absolutely perfect. And that was just the Monday practice round. I mean, it's just, I can't imagine the crew that they have doing. I mean, that was just for one fairway. I mean, I can't imagine.
I wonder
the
how many they
greenskeepers.
have employed
Yeah.
for the landscaping team.
Yeah,
Gotta
I'm
be.
looking right now. This is off a Glassdoor. So I was trying to find the salaries of
Mm.
these guys at the Masters. Let's see. The Augusta National Golf Club, the salary starts at 64,000, goes and then goes as high as up to 67,000.
Wow.
So it's not as
Yeah.
high as I would think, but it's still pretty damn good for a landscaper, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
if,
that's true.
and I'm sure the main guy probably gets paid more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's crazy.
That would just be a whole operation. Oh man.
I just remember hearing that if you volunteer there, you get 1 day, rain or shine, that you get to play that course.
Really?
Mhm. Or maybe you have to work there. I thought that they said volunteers, and so that alone, I
get
mean,
paid out.
I wouldn't need to be paid for a year if you got to go play Augusta. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that would be just
Wow,
awesome.
that's amazing.
I guess the average hourly pay for the golf club and landscape designer is only $21. Huh. There's got to be more to it. I feel like that's just not
Yeah.
high enough for how highly touted that course is.
Yeah.
Again, this is Glassdoor, so who knows? That could be way off. I'd probably have to go to the official site and try to find some information on there.
Sure.
Let's see. From the text line, Chris Raff, part of the ticket says they have Georgia peach ice cream sandwiches at Double Eagle for the Masters. No way.
Wow.
Yeah, those guys are out there today. I know Early
saw
Break
that. I
had
saw a
that.
photo of
Have you
it.
guys been down there yet?
Yes.
Yeah, of
We
course
went
you have.
down
You guys
and
sponsored. You
tried
have an
it
ad on
out.
our show.
Yeah, we have. I saw that they had a pretty good setup going for the Masters. That's awesome.
He
The
said
ice cream sandwiches.
Nick crushed 2 of them today, so they're awesome.
I bet they are. I don't think you can go wrong with
Peach,
that.
yeah.
Anything ice cream sandwich. I don't think you can.
I like how you said about the efficiency too. I wonder if it's because, like, yes, they have an awesome system in place, but everyone's off their phones. Like, no one's bumbling around in line.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm like, you gotta
Yeah.
like snap your fingers to get them to look up. Like, everyone's kind of moving. It's almost like cars. When you can tell someone's
Yeah.
on their phone.
Yeah,
and
oh,
it's
yeah.
like go.
It's- yeah.
At the Masters, no one has their phone. So everyone's just moving. Everyone's got like one objective. I want a pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
I'm
look
gonna
at
be
my
here,
phone. I'm just
yeah.
gonna wait and shuffle forward.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's just a whole different. I mean, it's just an experience like really nothing else. I mean, everyone is just like so happy to be there, and it's just everywhere you look is just perfect. I mean, all the trees, all the colors. It's like, I mean, just the shade of green it is there is just like you can't even see that green here. It's just so dark. It's like how do you even make a fairway that dark a green and like that perfectly mown? I don't even know how they do it.
They just sharpen everything
Everything.
daily, every
Crazy.
night. They make sure it's got the perfect blade on there. That'd be nuts. I wonder what
Crazy.
equipment they use.
I've
They just got to have the craziest budget. Like, I'm
Oh,
really
yeah.
curious about the length. Like, one thing about the Masters, which might be kind of sad, but like the landscaping almost gets me like just as excited as the level of play itself.
Oh yeah.
I would agree. Even just seeing it on TV, and
Yeah.
I just love when they talk about like the announcers know that course so well because most of them have played it before. But I just love when they talk about like they're even talking about how the greens are breaking, and they're like, "Oh, this fairway is going to be playing firm today," or whatever, and it's just the best week. It's
It
just
is,
such
it
a great
is.
week.
And the traditional music,
Yeah.
like going over, it starts, and you just kind of get that feeling where it's just like,
It's so great. Everybody's just so into it. It's
Mhm.
like everybody just comes together for like one weekend, and it's just
Well, even today, so we were at Firethorn for practice. What do you say? Half the people have some sort of Masters something
Oh,
on. I
yeah.
mean, half the range. We were joking, is it St. Patty's Day or Masters Week? Because everybody was in green on the range. It's like
Yeah.
it's just what golfers do. I mean, this is like the best week of the year for anyone who golfs.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Everybody's tuned in somehow.
yeah, even people that don't golf, like it's just
Still
it's just
yeah.
super satisfying to watch.
Yeah.
And then of course you have like those years like Tiger. Last time he won was just like incredible. That's gonna get everyone plugged in. I feel like last year did pretty well in ratings. I don't know. I feel like last year was one of the years where I wasn't super plugged in. That's probably just because I was busy. I can't remember.
That's what's tough. I know. I was like, why did I forgot today? I feel like this should just be reserved for watching the Masters.
Yeah.
I think the Masters, the first day of March Madness and the Super Bowl, like let's just bundle those in the
Yeah.
national holidays.
Wow. I would agree. On a golf note, though, what do you think, Megan? Like, what are some things when you're watching the Masters, or just when you're watching any major event? What are some things you can take from the golfers?
I honestly think their attitudes. I think typically the ones who win just have the best attitude. Like they do not get frustrated when they hit bad shots. And it's crazy how you can watch their momentum spiral out of control. Like you can see a guy who's, 2 shots out of the lead and he hits a bad shot on whatever, and all of a sudden he makes bogey and then he's all mad and he throws a club or whatever and then makes a lot of bogeys.
Yeah.
But the guys who like just stay in it and are so patient typically end up winning or at least pushing. And so I just think it's funny how you can. It's harder for us to like see that in ourselves, but you can see it. Yeah, you can see it so much easier on someone else.
That's true. That's true. And when you're just watching the leaderboard and you're watching the scoreboard just go up and down, it's so easy to tell and follow that.
Do you guys remember that one year? I can't remember the name, but he was putting and he missed the putt and he just like he was so frustrated. He was just like trying to tap it in. And I think he like 4-putted, like almost off a foot. Like he was just swinging his club around. I want to say it was like maybe, like 3 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
I saw John Rahm 4-putted his first hole today.
Yeah.
And still shot
Still
65
for the lead. Still shot 65
with a 4-putt.
Yeah, I'd like to know what he was thinking in his head after that. Like he had to really turn something around.
Yeah,
that would be a frustrating first start.
Yeah, he probably stayed very patient.
Yeah, I would imagine. You have to.
What do you pick up from that, Lindsay? Watching those, like you said, like Megan said, just the mentality those guys have. The person that wins, it's like just locked in day one.
Yeah.
Even though they 4-putt, he's locked in. He's like, well, I got to pick it up somewhere else. So what do you kind of take from that?
I love hearing the caddy conversations.
I didn't even think about
between
that.
player and caddy. I love hearing that because I just can't. They're so precise, and they have to be because, especially on a course like that, I would imagine it's just like one bounce left or right, and you're toast, or you're in good position for a birdie, and it's like just everything matters that much. Inches matter that much, and so I just love hearing. I mean, when they're debating over is it 67 or 68 yards, and they're like, "Well, there's wind in your face. It's 68." And it's like how it's just insane to me how they've just trained themselves to be that precise, but they know it's because they have to, and then they go execute it. And it's just unreal. I mean, yeah, just the caliber of the course that they're playing on, but then just being skilled enough and being disciplined enough to go out and tackle the course like they do. It's so impressive to watch.
I think their recovery shots are so fun to watch too, especially on this course with the trees and like you said, being so precise. I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm going to hit this huge high hook. I mean, I still remember the year Bubba Watson won and he hit that insane shot around all those trees. And I remember standing there and I was like, how did he even see this shot? Like, I don't see any, like their imagination and shots that they can pull off is just crazy.
I was going to say, like, we talked about visualization and stuff on here, and it's just, I mean, we've watched that video of Tiger. I don't remember what year that was, but they have to be able to see absolutely exactly what they want. And sometimes to our eyes, it's like, even to our eyes, it's like, I don't see any shot from here.
Yeah.
But they can pull off something.
Yeah.
And they see it, and it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah, especially when you start getting to day 3, you really start seeing that risk management come into play.
Oh yeah.
And they're really starting to think like you like day 1, you see, I mean, I don't want to say you see it played safe because everyone knows like if I got to win this, I'm going to have to pull some shots off. But when you start seeing people slip behind, like you said, you really start to see the creativity and that risk management comes into play.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing these crazy shots come into play. But nonetheless, we are up against the clock. This is Big Red Birdies. I'm Harrison Arns. That's Megan and Lindsay. And again, you guys want to join the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, or Allo Channel 951, or the Start Game text line 402-464-5685. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
I'm Brian. At 58, doctors told me I had the heart of a 37-year-old man. Told me that after my heart transplant surgery. If you're a smoker, here are some tips in case that happens to you. First, you have to quit now, and never feel sorry for yourself. I only feel sorry for that 37-year-old
Nebraska Tobacco Quit line 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Association and this station.
Nebraska State Veterans Home are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes, Bellevue, Harney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes, with early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes? That's 33.3333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Pre-Diabetes Awareness Partners.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you've made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I wanted to quit for so long, but I didn't know where to start.
I was afraid of what people would think, but then I found the right support to start my recovery journey. 1 in 14 Americans report experiencing a substance use disorder, a treatable medical condition. Treatment can take many forms, so there are a variety of options to explore and find the one that works best for you. Recovery from drug addiction is possible.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Yeah, Bailey. He dealt me with this. He was mean. He said some things to me that he shouldn't have said to me. We had scored a touchdown. And, you know, when you score a touchdown, extra point, and he was all in my face, talking crazy. Yeah, you keep sending all the dudes over here. You this, you that. After that field goal, he's in my face like this close. So, you know what I did? I spit it. Oh, no. You broke the golden rule. You broke the golden rule. It wasn't right. I lost all respect. Why? I really want to be on your show no more. I'm done.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. 1 in 3 adults have diabetes. Early diagnosis to reverse the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes? That's 33.333 adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's me, or my favorite sister, other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic my karaoke Carol, my karaoke enemy.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Pre-Diabetes Awareness Partners.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 90.7 The Ticket, and it will magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. Pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips up, and invite your little ever so slightly. Now, put one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like your dad. It's a great way to make home with your kids.
Now, make you just smell something bad.
Visit fatherhealth.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health, Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back into Big Red Birdies. I'm Harrison Barnes pushing the ones and twos. We got master golfers Megan and Lindsay here with us as well. We ended up talking about the Masters pretty much the entire last segment, but that's only fair because the Masters, if you're a golf fan, it's pretty much right up there with March Madness. And we're kind of talking about it, and we talked about the sub-air system. I guess it was started in 1990, and it's essentially just like a giant drop back that they put.
Wow.
They started it putting it underneath the greens, and then they started putting it underneath the fairways, and they just extended it throughout the whole course.
Wow.
So I guess it attaches to like all the drainage pipes, basically, and it acts as like a giant shot back.
Wow.
Which is kind of insane.
That's
so
crazy.
it came a long way from the 1990s, I guess.
Yeah.
But we got a little bit of time here. Where do you guys want to go with this? I know we're talking. I was prepping. I didn't quite hear the conversation.
Yeah, we can just kind of talk about our week of practice and then what we have coming after this.
Yeah, so we got back late on Sunday, and one of our big focuses from this last tournament for the five of us has been putting. We didn't quite putt how we wanted in Oklahoma, and we have felt that if we could kind of clean that up, that would definitely shave some strokes. But yeah, so that's kind of been the big focus as well as just maintaining our ball striking because that will continue to matter as the last few tournaments come up.
Yeah, and as the courses get tired.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So we've had a few good days of practice here where it's nice when we finally just have a few hours of practice without having to worry about competing it had been a while. I was telling Megan today since I felt like I had 45 minutes on the range.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot of warming up before rounds or kind of just working on little things that you need to. But when we're on the road a lot, it's a lot of short game work because you're trying to figure out the greens. So yeah, I've appreciated that the last few days of kind of just resetting again and getting everything back in the shape I want it before we hit the road again, which is next Thursday, so a week from today.
Yeah, and the courses, like we talked about, they will be a little bit tougher. I think the Ohio State course actually has hosted more NCAA championships than any other course in the country. Or it's something, I think they've hosted like 14 championships. So it's like legit golf course. It's designed by Jack Nicklaus. So yeah, big bunkers, fairly tight. But I mean, cool thing is it's a very fair golf course. So like if we play well, you can really play well out there. The greens are so smooth, which is just really nice. Very nice course. Very good shape always.
Yeah,
absolutely. And like you said, schedule's kind of coming to a close here. So if you're not paying attention, it's a good time to pay attention now. They got the Lady Buckeye Invitational April 15th to the 16th, and then it's Big Ten Championship April 21st to 23rd. Then you got NCAA Regionals May 8th to the 10th, and then the NCAA Champion 19th through the 24th. So obviously, take care of the Lady Buckeye Invitational first before we go anywhere else. But yeah, like I said, it's kind of coming to a close here. And, since we got a little bit of time, the season's not over, but what have you been most impressed with so far on this year's run?
I think I would say it's kind of, I feel like I've said this a lot today, just different things, but our ability to just adapt very quickly. I think out of the tournaments that we've had so far, they've all been so different. I can't even pick out many similarities between anything, weather, field, type of course, like the layout, the air that we're playing in. We've just been in so many different, it's been dry, it's been wet, we've just been in a lot of different conditions. And
the fans in other states.
Yeah, exactly. So I've just been very proud of how we've kind of just bounced around and really adjusted and adapted, and we've gotten really good, I think, at just reading conditions and reading circumstances before each shot, especially, but even just each hole and round at tournament, and adjusting on the fly and just getting really used to that. So that, I think we've done a really great job of that this season.
I would say, yeah, I would completely agree with that, and I just think everybody's fight is there. Like, we've all had bad holes. We've all had bad rounds. And luckily, for the most part, if someone has a bad round, we've got other girls ready to go, which is very helpful. But everyone has made doubles and triples this year and have fought till the end. Or you'll have a bad round one, but you'll just fight right back in round two. And that just makes such a big difference because, even if someone – we had one girl, her score didn't count the first two rounds of the 36th day and then shot a 66 the final round. And it's like that just shows, like, you don't give up. You don't throw in the towel. The fight is just there, which really helps the team score, knowing that everyone's gonna just leave it all out there to make it count.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, definitely pay attention now because the season is starting to come to a close. But we got the Lady Buckeye Invitational coming up here. So yeah, pay attention to those guys. And then is that just? Can we watch that on any channels? I wasn't seeing anything. Trying to find it.
Not this one.
Bummer. I feel like that's one tough thing. I would love for the Big Ten to embrace golf more. Cause that'd just be fun to watch, guys or girls.
It's always it should always be live scoring on golfstat.com.
Okay. So what was this?
Golfstat.com.
Yeah. Okay. So again, if you can't get the channel on, which is just that's called those guys. But we're gonna end it right here. Appreciate you guys listening on the ticket. I'm Harris Snarks. That's Megan and Lindsay. We will see you guys. Are you guys back next week?
Next week will be
traveling. Okay. So it might be a little minute as guys are kind of getting to the end here. You'll have to kind of go back and catch the podcast on ticketm.com. Nonetheless, appreciate you guys listening and enjoy the rest of your Thursday night.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why